knowing that audio was probably going to come out along with additional tapes, whether they be video or audio is unclear at this particular moment in time, Shannon Sharpe felt compelled to come out in his own defense. In my perfect world, he moves on. And somehow, some way, we find this all to be false. But it doesn't seem like that's the way things are about to go down, considering who Mr. Busby is.
Football Hall of Famer and broadcaster Shannon Sharpe says he's stepping aside from his job at ESPN in light of new allegations. On Sunday, a woman filed a $50 million civil lawsuit in the state of Nevada.
Yeah, I might choke you in public. Big black guy chokes small white woman.
You sharing text messages, that's just sharing too much. We didn't want to hear about nobody getting hogtied in your bedroom and your salad getting tossed while you wearing a collar. It's too much.
All of these big dick deviants, they're all catching hell in 2024. It's up for all of them. It don't matter if you Diddy or whoever you is.
StephenASmith is straight up eating this up right now because Shannon Sharpe just got booted from ESPN, and it's looking real bad for him. Word on the street is Shannon's not just fired. He might be banned for life after 3 more women came forward with some seriously disturbing accusations. And trust, the fans are not feeling sorry for him at all.
Race play, Shannon Sharpe. Race play? I didn't even want to talk about this, but the more videos I scroll past talking about Shannon Sharpe and this relationship that he had with this 19-year-old. And honestly, I was just assaulted by this information. I didn't know anything about it. And I'm scrolling, minding my business, and I see a deluge of text messages that he released from this girl that are weird and with an obvious race fetish. And it's not just her with the race fetish. He obviously was turned on by these conversations as well, and he only released what she was saying. Put a big black baby in me. Oh my gosh, I can't believe. I wouldn't be surprised if she was calling him the N-word during coitus. He's into that. And if this man is turned on sexually by being racialized in such a weird way.
Folks are out here saying Shannon's just getting the karma he signed up for, and it's spinning the block hard. This might be one of the wildest, messiest scandals we've seen in a hot minute. If you somehow missed it, here's the deal.
I'm grateful I'm not 56 and trying.
What you trying to say? What you trying to say?
I'm looking right at you.
I know you looking at your
I ain't backing down. You don't need no 26-year-old girl. You don't need no 36-year-old girl.
I know.
This is your auntie talking to you. Take your old and get your old out there that can love you old. You're trying to hang out with these young and you can't do it, Shannon. You just can't do it.
Shannon was out here playing sugar daddy for an OnlyFans girl, and get this, she's young enough to be his grandbaby. He really thought he was running game, flashing money like he was untouchable. But nah, Shannon got played like a rookie, and it wasn't just about tossing around cash either. Turns out Shannon was deep into some creepy race play stuff that's got the whole internet gagging right now. People are straight up disgusted. And just when you think it couldn't get worse, boom, the receipts dropped. We're talking text, audio clips, and with Shannon saying wild stuff like he wants to choke this woman in public, and it's a done deal.
All of us have someone to answer to. No matter how maverick we try to be, and we own our own business, and we're our sole proprietors like I am on this platform and stuff like that. There are advertisers, there are sponsors, there are people you do business with, there are partners, and there are bosses.
Shannon Sharpe's reputation is toast. And get this, it just came out that Shannon tried to toss millions at his accuser to keep her quiet before the drama even popped off. He knew those skeletons in his closet were ready to come crashing out any second. But the girl he tried to shut up, she was playing chess, not checkers. She stayed patient. And now the whole ugly truth is out there for everybody to see. And man, Shannon was moving wild reckless.
It's a sad situation. Shannon Sharpe is somebody I work with a couple of days a week. Shannon Sharpe is somebody that I brought to ESPN. To be clear, even though this podcast, this YouTube show is owned and operated by me solely, It doesn't mean that I'm going to be dismissive of ESPN, who employs me in my daytime job on First Take. So I sit here before you today letting you know that they are aware that this is a subject that I was going to broach, because I owe them that courtesy. I am the executive producer of First Take on ESPN. I recruited Shannon. I went and got him and brought him to ESPN. I'm not the boss. Those are other folks. There are layers to this, and there are certain layers even I am not on. I can tell you, I also spoke to co-chairman of Disney, the boss, Jimmy Pitaro, who made it very, very clear we are taking this matter very seriously. And we are looking into this very, very closely. In my perfect world, he moves on. And somehow, some way, we find this all to be false. But it doesn't seem like that's the way things are about to go down, considering who Mr. Busby is and how emphatic his client is proclaiming that she is right and she's telling the truth. I have no idea what direction ESPN and Walt Disney will go in when it comes to this matter. All I do know is it won't be me making a decision. It'll be others upstairs. In the end, all of us have someone to answer to. No matter how maverick we try to be, we own our own business, and we're our sole proprietors like I am on this platform and stuff like that. There are advertisers, there are sponsors, there are people you do business with, there are partners, and there are bosses. That's the situation, unfortunately, that Shannon Sharpe finds himself in.
Now, instead of getting any sympathy, the public, and even StephenASmith, are roasting him for being almost 60 years old and still chasing after OnlyFans models like he's fresh out of high school. No self-control whatsoever. Even Cat Williams and Monique allegedly warned him about how these young girls will line you up if you're not careful. But Shannon, he was too busy laughing it off like it was a game. And now look, millions gone, TV deals dead, and whatever little dignity he had left is slipping away fast.
This three-time Super Bowl champion and this Hall of Famer, who emphatically stated to me over the phone how innocent he is of these allegations that have been levied against him, insisting repeatedly that anything you read, anything you see, anything you hear was fully and totally consensual. In the same breath, what's inescapable is that without us knowing all the merits, he was working with Disney, where I've worked since 2003, excluding my departure from 2009 to 2011, and I was gone for those 2 years. Outside of that, I've been at Disney since October of 2003. I know this place. I know the worldwide leader that is ESPN, who's under the umbrella of Disney. And it wasn't difficult for me to figure out what was transpiring. They didn't need any definitive evidence at this particular moment in time about all of that stuff. Once all the things Shannon Sharpe's lawyer put out there, it was uncomfortable to listen to. And it was not something that Walt Disney once associated with its brand. So to have him on the airwaves while all of that stuff was put out there was not something that Disney was going to take. That is what I mean when I say I am not surprised.
Meanwhile, StephenASmith is somewhere cracking up behind the scenes, even though he tried to act like he felt sorry for Shannon in public. Please, You can tell he's loving every second of this mess. And believe it or not, this story gets even crazier. We're just getting started. Let's break it all down.
A lot of people want to walk around thinking you can do what you want to do when you want to do it. You could your own operation. You don't have to answer to anybody. That's not true. I've had people open their mouth and they've said, Stephen A., you work for ESPN. What kind of control do you do? This is my podcast. This is my YouTube show. I own this. But if you think for 1 second that I can just do what I want to do, when I want to do it, how I want to do it, and there's not going to be any repercussions, you're clueless. And you're destined to fail and fall into this. Some people sit up there and they look at me and they say, Stephen A. don't get himself in this kind of trouble. How does he pull it off? Well, first of all, there's certain behaviors and proclivities that you never have to worry about me being guilty. But most importantly than that, I often say this about Wall Street. I'd rather work for a place with standards than one with it.
Shannon Sharpe just fumbled his ESPN bag, and man, it's looking real ugly for him right now. For those who don't know, ESPN ain't just some random sports channel. It's majority owned by Disney. Yeah, the same Disney that's all about family values and clean vibes and protecting that billion-dollar brand. So once all Shannon's dirty laundry hit the streets, the lawsuits, the leaked texts, the creepy race play accusations, Disney didn't waste 1 second cutting him loose. Look, ESPN's weathered a bunch of scandals before, but this was too filthy to fix. You've got lawsuits flying, a 19-year-old OnlyFans model at the center, and disturbing race play receipts.
My grandma used to say something. She'd say, boy, sometimes God will put you in place people don't think you belong. And anytime you're somewhere where people don't think you belong, you know what they say, Steve? Well, he don't deserve that. Who are you to tell me what God has made a mistake on me? He don't deserve.
Shannon really thought he could just brush this off, but once you're dragging race and alleged SA into the picture, it turns into a full-blown PR nightmare that no magic wand could fix. On April 24th, Shannon dropped a statement acting like he decided to temporarily step away from his ESPN duties. He even said he plans to come back in time for the NFL preseason like it's no big deal. But sources inside ESPN are calling cap on all that. They're saying it wasn't Shannon's choice at all. He was pushed out hard. Word from inside the network is clear. Shannon didn't step away like he's trying to make it sound. He got pushed out hard. ESPN just gave him a little grace to save face, letting him act like it was his decision. But behind the scenes, they were done with him for good.
It's my only goal. I didn't want to get with a white woman because I was scared she might have me running down the street like Jonathan Majors.
There you go, think I'm old cat.
Not because I didn't like white women. I think white women are as great as any other women. But I'm not gonna act like I'm not scared of them. I have a reason to be scared. You could be Kang the Conqueror and they could take your rabbit ass down in 2 weekends. And that's the truth of the matter. So I stayed away from that. And remember, I told you the drug story from when I'm in the park.
Yeah.
So these are just the things. I had all of those when I came in. I already was ready for that.
Insiders are spilling that Shannon's basically banned from ESPN now. They don't even want his name anywhere near their brand moving forward. And now, here comes StephenASmith jumping into the drama. Stephen, who's not just a commentator but also an executive producer on ESPN's First Take, hopped on his platform, putting on his best concerned friend act. He gave this whole speech about how he feels bad for Shannon and how it's unfortunate that he's going through this. But if you really listen between the lines...
You don't need no 26-year-old girl. You don't need no 36-year-old girl. This is your auntie talking to you. Take your old and get your old out there that can love you old. You're trying to hang out with these young and you can't do it, Shannon. You just can't do it.
Told you. I told you. I told you. You ain't tell me.
Stephen was talking about Shannon's career like it's already 6 feet deep. He knew it was a wrap. And Stephen didn't stop there either. After it hit the news that Shannon was stepping away, Stephen got back on the mic, hammering the point that Disney does not play about their image. He made it loud and clear. Once Disney labels you a liability, it's a wrap. No second chances, no saving you. Actions have real consequences, and Shannon's finding that out the hard way. StephenASmith also threw a little more shade, hinting that Shannon releasing those text messages from the OnlyFans girl completely backfired. Matter of fact, insiders say just seeing those messy texts was enough for Disney and ESPN to make the call. They had to cut him off. And Stephen didn't stop there. He low-key dragged Shannon for being so reckless at his big age, acting like he was untouchable, only to get played bad by a 19-year-old. Shannon fumbled everything, his bag, his reputation, his future, all because he couldn't keep his impulses in check.
$50 million, I go to hell. For $50 million, I go to hell. For $50 million, I go to hell.
Now, Stephen tried to play slick and claimed he wasn't talking about Shannon specifically. He said he was speaking on people in general who walk around acting like they're above the law and don't gotta answer to nobody. But come on, everybody knew exactly who he was aiming at. Every word hit straight at Shannon's situation, and that's why fans are clowning Shannon with zero pity. They're saying he's way too old to be falling for rookie moves like this, especially when he was always out here preaching his grandma's old school wisdom to everybody else, but couldn't even follow it himself when it mattered most. But it wasn't just Shannon's grandma trying to drop some wisdom on him. Nope. Remember when Cat Williams pulled up to Club Shay last year and straight up warned Shannon that messing around with white women could land him in serious trouble? Well, turns out Cat wasn't just talking, he was preaching.
And just one more thing about Mr. Sharpe. Not so sharp, clearly. It is my theory, just my opinion, my theory, not fact, my opinion. I think all of this RACE rhetoric that was in those text messages started with him. It started with him. It's becoming more and more clear to me, in my opinion, that he has a race fetish. He has a fetish for that type of dynamic. Think about it. This was a 19-year-old white woman when he met her. I don't know any 19-year-old white woman that's running around hollering about a big black baby and baby gravy. Shannon was a 54-year-old big black grown man from the backwoods of Georgia. Gravy sound like he's familiar with. Big black babies, he's probably seen a few in his day. Born in the backwoods of Georgia where he grew up with his grandma and all them other folks. But I just don't think that came from her. Now, is she repeating it back in those text messages? Yes, that's why he released her messages, not his. Peep that. Okay, we haven't seen what his responses was, and I guarantee you, when they post those messages, y'all gonna see. All of that race started with him. It's a fetish, and he could only play that kind of stuff out with a young girl. He couldn't, like Monique was trying to tell him, get an older gal. Older gal ain't going for that. They was going immediately knew he was a freak and a weirdo. A 19-year-old don't know better. That's why she repeated it back to him, because he said it to her first. Older men, that's why they tend to want to be with younger women. They're more impressionable. They can mold them. They can shape them to be what they want them to be. Do what they want them to do. You let him come to a 40 or 50-year-old woman talking about put a big black baby and baby gravy. We're going to be looking like, what's wrong with you? Yeah, that started with him. Mark my words. It's going to come out. But that race stuff started with Shannon.
Based on the lawsuit timeline, Shannon was already deep in with that OnlyFans model when Kat gave him that warning. And it didn't stop there either. Right after Kat's interview went viral, Monique showed up on Club Shay too, and she basically told Shannon to quit playing and find someone closer to his own age. She called out those weird age gap relationships, telling him it's a setup waiting to happen. But here's where it gets even crazier. There's a clip floating around now where Shannon jokes that he'd go to hell for $50 million. Well, guess what? The devil must have heard him loud and clear, because his accuser, Gabriela Zuniga, is now hitting him with a $50 million lawsuit. You can't make this stuff up.
So what, Gabby?
Well, you're coming to LA tomorrow?
Yes.
Well, I don't know why you want to go out.
Don't worry about it, Gabby.
Well, okay.
Okay, what?
Well, I'm not really interested in getting choked, so I guess we're going.
Yeah. I might choke you in public.
Big black guy chose small white woman.
It's not a good look, Shannon.
Not a good look that you did what you did to me.
Okay,
Well, what?
But here's the thing, it ain't just the wild age gap that's making this whole situation blow up. Based on Gabriella's lawsuit and the text that Shannon himself leaked, it's clear Shannon was into some twisted bedroom games, including race play. And insiders are saying Shannon was the only one who specifically asked for that nasty, racially charged role play. The girl? She was basically a paid worker doing whatever the check told her to do. But somewhere down the line, it sounds like everything spiraled way out of control. And whether this girl had a setup plan from the jump, or whether she pulled her consent back and Shannon kept pushing, either way, it's a terrible look for Shannon.
To my family, friends, supporters, and colleagues, I want to speak to you directly and from the heart. This is a shakedown. I'm going to be open, transparent, and defend myself because this isn't right. This is all being orchestrated by Tony Busby, who has targeted Jay-Z. Tony Busby targets black men, and I believe he's going to release a 30-second clip of a tape that tries to make me look guilty and play into every stereotype you could possibly imagine.
Now, the reason people believe Shannon paid to live out these fantasies, it's because in one of those leaked text messages, Gabriella straight up mentioned Shannon throwing down $25,000 for each cheat. Like this wasn't some casual thing, big money was moving behind the scenes. But here's where it gets even nastier. Gabriella was sending Shannon some wild texts too, talking about wanting him to put a censored for safety, and even saying she wanted to put her tongue in his censored.
Now let's get this party started. Lay it on me.
Get your black over here, buckwheat.
Okay, come straight out the gate with it.
Yeah,
right.
I know that's what you like to be called, ain't it? Buckwheat. Now stop flapping them gigantic lips and use them for what they're supposed to use to, not talking to their superiors. I see you shucking and jiving out in them fields, and I want a piece. That's all you're good for,
so much
a piece
conviction?
of meat. You walk like you be wading in the water. Ooh, if my daddy and his friends saw you, or they take you out so quick.
Cause he be looking at me.
I know you want some of this fat back that I got.
No,
make your lips all greasy, I know.
I think
What's the matter? I thought we was just race playing. I thought you liked it.
From the way it looks, this 19-year-old was not really feeling Shannon like that. She was playing a whole different kind of game. She was most likely just doing what she got paid to do. And peep this, Shannon only leaked the text she sent him, but conveniently left out his side of the convo. Real slick move, right? But fans caught that fast, and now they're connecting the dots, saying she was probably talking wild because Shannon was the one pushing all that twisted race play stuff from the jump. Now, whether this whole mess was fully consensual from start to finish, or if it took a dark turn somewhere along the way, that's for the courts to figure out. But let's be real, it's looking real bad for Shannon right now, especially after Gabriella's lawyer, Tony Busby, came through swinging and dropped an explosive audio recording. In it, Shannon can literally be heard threatening to choke her, and he even says he'd do it in public. That clip lit the internet on fire. Now, to be fair, the audio is strange on both ends. It's almost like some kind of disturbing role play was going on. But the part that's got everybody shook is how it sounds like this girl was baiting Shannon to say messed up things, and instead of shutting it down, he actually sounded into it. And that's making Shannon look real suspect out here. Even if this girl did bait Shannon with that wild talk and had it all recorded, now she's flipping the script and claiming it wasn't consensual. But fans, they're still saying Shannon's got no one to blame but himself. He's almost 60 years old and still letting a 19-year-old outmaneuver him, like she wasn't gonna turn around and weaponize everything he said and did. The lack of self-control and self-awareness here is crazy. How do you fumble like that with your whole legacy on the line?
Shannon Sharpe, we want out of the group chat now. Like right now, because it's getting disgusting and you need to act your age. First, we had to hear the audio from when you accidentally went live that absolutely nobody asked for. We could have went our whole lives without hearing that. Then you started doing infomercials about ED pills. And now you sharing text messages that's just sharing too much. We didn't want to hear about nobody getting hogtied in your bedroom and your salad getting tossed while you wearing a collar. It's too much. Well, at what point do you say, You just too old. He like that old grandfather that every time he come around, he want to tell you about all the women he got. And when everybody else is talking, he want to talk like he's still in his 20s and he hanging out with the young folks. Pack it up. You just too freaked out at your old age. And we don't want to know about, we truly don't want nothing to do with it. Please, why didn't you just share that in the courts? Share it with the lawyers. Why did we need to see that? Sick of him.
And let's not forget the part where Shannon tried to play the successful black man being targeted card. He compared himself to Jay-Z and claimed that Tony Busby, Gabriella's lawyer, only comes after wealthy black men. Now, even if there's some truth to that, the internet was not buying it. People are calling Shannon out all over social media saying he's got no business trying to pull the black man victim card in this situation, especially when he was out here literally engaging in race play. Like, how are you gonna cry about racial targeting when you were the one paying a white woman to humiliate you in some sick racial role play? And let's not forget, Shannon tried to jump ahead of the drama, warning everyone that Tony Busby might release parts of a private tape that, in his words, would feed into every negative stereotype about black men. But fans, they're not having it. They're saying Shannon is the one who walked right into those stereotypes, all by himself. I mean, how do you go from paying a white woman to racially humiliate you to now crying for sympathy because you're being unfairly targeted as a black man? That switch up is wild, and nobody's falling for it. His attempt to play the community card is crashing and burning. Instead of support, the internet is clowning him with memes, jokes, and nonstop roasting over this whole race play madness. And those texts he released, they didn't help his case one bit. If anything, they made things worse. Fans are saying this isn't even the first time Shannon's been caught being a weirdo. People are done buying the I'm the victim act. They're saying Shannon had every opportunity to walk a better path. And instead, he blew it all up himself. But now it's your turn. How do you feel about this whole Shannon Sharpe situation? Was he really targeted, or did he set himself up by being reckless? And what about ESPN and Disney dropping him? Smart move or too quick to cut ties? Let's talk about it in the comments. I want to hear everything. And don't forget to like, subscribe, share, and hit that bell so you never miss the next drop. Trust me, you won't want to miss what's coming next. See you in the next one.